О, привет, Кэт.
Привет, моя зайка! Сегодня я расскажу тебе историю про монстра перед тем, как ты пойдешь спать.
You know, when I was a kid, the internet was just beginning. Back then, screens did not follow us everywhere. But before the internet, if you wanted to send someone a message far away, you couldn't just text them or send a funny emoji. Messages had to travel a long way. When our grandfather was working far up in the Russian north, in Novy Urengoy, our grandmother was at home, pregnant, with our mom in her tummy. She wrote him letters, she folded them carefully, sent them on their way, and then she waited. Days passed, weeks passed, sometimes whole months. But you know what? Even that world, Grandma's world, wasn't the slowest world at all. Before computers, there was a time when there were only typewriters and ink. Before typewriters, only presses and paper. Before paper, only scrolls and clay tablets. And before clay tablets, there were no books, no newspapers, not even an alphabet. Imagine that, a world where words had no shapes. People remembered everything with their bodies, with their voices, their songs, their rhythms, their breath. And when a world changes, something else changes too. Something begins to grow in the cracks between these worlds. Something stitched together from every way we humans have ever tried to remember, to speak, to write, to imagine. That, my little one, is where our monster begins.
Сегодняшняя история – это не просто история, а целое расследование.
Our creature has no single birthplace. It has reappeared many times in many shapes, always at the edges of human communication. Anthropologists call it the cultural body. Psychologists call it the return of the repressed. I will call it the swallower, a monster stitched together from every cultural transformation humans have ever witnessed. Our goal is simple: to understand what this creature's body reveals about our current moment and why it has returned now, in the age of AI. A cavern of many tongues, echoing chants, myths, and riddles, it repeats, loops, forgets, and remembers. It's homeostatic. Namely, the meaning of each word is controlled by real-life situations in which the word is used here and now. Its backbone is rigid, linear, and arranged in segments like letters. The spine trained us to break reality into units, to categorize, to systematize. There is a relationship between power and the categorizations used in society. The monster's spine swallows our power to control through language, shaping how we think, speak, and remember. Regular, identical, repeating ribs like pages of a book, a body standardized, mass-produced, deprived of aura, the subtle presence of meaning and originality that once lived in unique works, these ribs now enclose a hollow space, a space where creativity is outsourced to templates and repetition. It has 100 limbs, just like Hecatonchires we read about in a Greek myth, remember? Imprisoned by Uranus. Each limb of the swallower reaches in multiple directions at once. It resembles multitasking, the mythical living. Myths, after all, grow out of feedback loops, and in the electronic age, the secondary reality, we are trained to think mythically, to accept the all-at-onceness of the world, where everything happens simultaneously and demands our attention. The monster's limbs embody this condition. They are the physical form of 24/7 functioning, the constant readiness modern life imposes on us. The monster's body is pure culture, a living archive of our attempts to preserve ourselves. The monster does not live in one place. Its body is liminal. The swallower lives in trash holes, the fragile, trembling trash holes that exist neither inside nor outside, yet articulate both. These are its natural habitats. Times of moral panic, when society fears losing its children to new technologies. Times when the world feels like it's speeding up faster than people can breathe. It does not fully belong to the past or the future. It is exiled from both and yet tied to each. But what does the swallower warn us about? Every monster reveals a crisis. This one reveals several. The crisis of identity, memory, agency, and morality. But the deeper pathology is this. The swallower is a cannibal. It reflects back everything we have tried to become. Superhuman, extended, limitless. And in that reflection, we see what was lost along the way. Our connection to our own bodies, our presence in the world. The monster is the return of all that we repressed in the pursuit of power, speed, and perfection.
Но если монстр состоит из нас, как же он может нам навредить?
Это хороший вопрос. И ответ в том, что монстр не нападает ради жестокости. It doesn't move to destroy or to punish. It shows the cracks we try to hide. It exposes things we forget, the parts of us we outsource, the ways we allow the world to run faster than we can follow. Sometimes that reflection feels frightening. Sometimes it feels like a loss, but mostly it's a warning. And now, honey, if we pay attention, we might just learn something about ourselves and the future we're building together. Because the future is a threshold, and like every threshold in history, a monster is there to arise. Not to devour us, but to remind us that we are those who brought it to life.